understand the preciousness of life and creating safe places for my children to be able to learn and grow.
The story surrounding tWitch's death has taken an increasingly disturbing turn, with mounting evidence suggesting that the official narrative may not tell the full truth. Initially accepted as a tragic suicide, new revelations have cast doubt on the circumstances surrounding his passing. Among the most alarming claims is the assertion that tWitch was still alive when authorities originally declared him deceased. If true, this would mean that his wife, Ell𝙴n, had knowledge of his survival yet allowed the world to believe he was gone, potentially for financial gain. Reports indicate that she swiftly moved to claim control over his estate, filing legal petitions shortly after his death to secure half of his assets and royalties from his career earnings. This urgency raises serious concerns about her motivations and whether she played a role in orchestrating events behind the scenes. Beyond the financial aspect, further scrutiny has fallen on Ell𝙴n due to the inconsistencies in her public statements regarding tWitch's well-being. She claimed that he struggled with addiction and had hidden drugs in shoeboxes, supposedly as a means of self-medication stemming from childhood trauma. However, those close to tWitch have vehemently denied these allegations, emphasizing that he was known for his positivity, resilience, and lack of substance abuse issues. His cousin and other family members have publicly criticized Ell𝙴n for fabricating details about his life, particularly in her memoir This Far, where she detailed intimate aspects of their relationship without regard for his legacy. These contradictions have led many to question whether she is attempting to manipulate public perception or conceal more sinister truths. Adding fuel to the fire are reports suggesting that Ell𝙴n did not act alone in this alleged cover-up. Speculation has grown around potential involvement from high-profile figures such as Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy, both of whom have been linked to tWitch through past relationships and professional connections. Some theorize that they may have assisted Ell𝙴n in orchestrating the misinformation surrounding his death, possibly to protect themselves from any damaging revelations he might have exposed. While no concrete evidence has surfaced to prove these claims, the sheer volume of conflicting accounts and suspicious behavior warrants deeper investigation into what truly transpired before, during, and after tWitch's passing. As the narrative surrounding tWitch's death continues to unfold, a growing web of speculation implicates Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy in a conspiracy that could extend beyond mere coincidence. Rumors suggest that both figures were not only aware of the circumstances surrounding tWitch's demise, but may have actively participated in a coordinated effort to obscure the truth. This theory is fueled by the complex dynamics of their relationships with tWitch, which intertwine personal history with professional ambition, creating a backdrop ripe for conspiracy. Ellen DeGeneres, who shared a close bond with tWitch during his time on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, has faced criticism for her handling of various controversies in the past. Accusations of fostering a toxic work environment and silencing dissenting voices have painted her as a figure capable of manipulating narratives to suit her needs. Given her history of allegedly trying to silence those who spoke out against her, it is conceivable that she might have felt threatened by tWitch's potential revelations. If tWitch possessed information that could jeopardize her reputation or expose uncomfortable truths about her dealings with powerful individuals like Diddy, it would not be far-fetched to imagine a scenario where eliminating him became a priority. Diddy, known for his extravagant lifestyle and high-profile connections within the entertainment industry, has long been associated with parties that blur the lines between celebration and exploitation. The infamous freak-off gatherings hosted by Diddy have been rumored to involve influential figures, including celebrities and industry insiders. If tWitch had become privy to the inner workings of these events or had witnessed something incriminating, it could place him at risk. The suggestion that he might have been involved in recruitment for such parties under Ellens influence adds another layer to the conspiracy, raising questions about the lengths to which these individuals might go to maintain their power and influence. Moreover, the timing of Anne Heche's tragic death, occurring just months before tWitch's own passing, has reignited discussions about Ellen's potential role in both cases. Anne, a former partner of Ellъn, made significant revelations about their relationship prior to her untimely demise. Her accusations of being blacklisted and subjected to mental health interventions have led some to speculate that Ellъn might have orchestrated events to silence dissenting voices. If tWitch had similar intentions to speak out against the culture of secrecy and manipulation that pervades the entertainment industry, it becomes plausible that he too could have been targeted. While these theories remain speculative, they underscore the broader implications of celebrity culture, where power dynamics can lead to dangerous consequences for those who dare to challenge the status quo. The allegations surrounding Ellъn and Diddy serve as a reminder of the complexities inherent in navigating fame, where loyalty can quickly turn to betrayal and the pursuit of truth often collides with the desire to protect reputations. As investigations continue, the possibility that tWitch's death was not merely a tragic accident, but part of a larger scheme involving influential figures, cannot be entirely dismissed, prompting a deeper examination of the relationships and motives at play. 100,000 words. Ell𝙴n Hulka's swift and calculated financial maneuvers following tWitch's death have raised eyebrows and intensified suspicions about her true intentions. Within weeks of his passing, she filed a legal petition seeking control over half of his estate, asserting that tWitch had little to no wealth before their marriage and that she played a pivotal role in building his success. This claim was met with skepticism, given tWitch's already established career as a dancer, actor, and television personality. By positioning herself as the primary beneficiary, Ell𝙴n ensured immediate access to his finances while simultaneously distancing herself from his grieving family. Not satisfied with just a share of his assets, she soon returned to court to demand not only continued access to his bank accounts, but also all future royalties from his film roles, television appearances, and other ventures. This relentless pursuit of financial gain, executed with remarkable speed, has led many to question whether she had premeditated her actions well before tWitch's death. The extent of her financial ambitions became even more apparent when reports surfaced that she had begun emptying tWitch's bank accounts shortly after his passing. Friends and family members expressed outrage at the manner in which she handled his affairs, noting that she prioritized securing monetary benefits over mourning his loss or supporting those closest to him. Instead of focusing on preserving his legacy, she appeared to be leveraging his death for personal enrichment, a stark contrast to the image of a grieving widow she projected publicly. Her decision to publish this far, a memoir detailing intimate aspects of their relationship, further cemented perceptions of opportunism. Rather than offering a heartfelt tribute, the book was seen as an attempt to profit from tWitch's tragedy, while simultaneously tarnishing his reputation through sensationalized claims about his supposed struggles with addiction and mental health. The fallout extended beyond financial disputes, manifesting in a deep rift between Ell𝙴n and tWitch's family. One of the most controversial decisions she made was requiring all family members, including tWitch's mother, to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, before attending his funeral. This move was widely condemned as excessive and disrespectful, especially given that funerals are meant to be spaces of remembrance and closure, rather than legal formalities designed to suppress information. The requirement of an NDA suggested that Ell𝙴n had something to hide, whether it was related to the circumstances of his death, her financial dealings, or undisclosed conflicts within the family. Many questioned why she would impose such restrictions on those closest to tWitch, leading to speculation that she sought to prevent them from speaking out against her version of events. tWitch's cousin, Courtney Ann, publicly criticized Ell𝙴n for her handling of the funeral arrangements and her overall conduct since his death. In a scathing social media post, she accused Ell𝙴n of treating tWitch's mother poorly throughout their marriage and then forcing her to sign an NDA as a condition for attending the funeral. The indignity of this demand, coupled with Ell𝙴n's aggressive legal actions regarding the estate, painted a picture of someone more concerned with maintaining control than honoring tWitch's memory. Another cousin echoed these sentiments, condemning Ell𝙴n's actions as opportunistic and heartless, particularly given that she had effectively erased the family from tWitch's final moments unless they complied with her demands. These tensions between Ell𝙴n and tWitch's relatives highlight the broader issue of how his legacy is being managed, or in many eyes, exploited. Rather than allowing his loved ones to grieve freely and celebrate his life, Ell𝙴n's insistence on legal constraints and financial dominance has created an atmosphere of distrust and resentment. The family's frustration is compounded by the fact that she appears to be profiting from tWitch's death while simultaneously shaping the narrative of his life in ways that contradict the memories of those who knew him best. Whether her actions stem from a genuine belief that she deserves sole control over his estate, or an attempt to obscure inconvenient truths remains unclear, but the impact on tWitch's loved ones is undeniable. The release of Ell𝙴n Hulka's memoir this far ignited a firestorm of controversy, drawing fierce backlash from tWitch's friends, family, and fans alike. What was expected to be a heartfelt tribute instead became a platform for exposing deeply personal details about tWitch's life, many of which contradicted the public persona he had carefully cultivated. The book's most shocking revelation, that tWitch had secretly struggled with addiction and kept substances like mushrooms and pills hidden in shoeboxes, was met with widespread disbelief. Those closest to him emphasized that he had never exhibited signs of drug use and was known for his discipline, professionalism, and vibrant energy. His cousin, among others, accused Ell𝙴n of fabricating these claims to justify his death as a result of personal failings rather than any external forces. Beyond the allegations of addiction, the memoir also delved into tWitch's traumatic childhood, revealing that he had been sexually assaulted by an older man, a detail he had chosen to keep private throughout his life. While some argued that bringing attention to this trauma could foster awareness and support for survivors, critics contended that Ell𝙴n's decision to disclose such sensitive information posthumously was exploitative. tWitch had spent years shielding his loved ones from the darkest parts of his past, and by exposing them in a commercialized format, Ell𝙴n was perceived as violating his trust and compromising his legacy. Many questioned whether her intention was genuinely to honor him, or if she was capitalizing on his name for financial and personal gain. Public reaction to the book was overwhelmingly negative, with fans expressing disappointment and anger over what they saw as a betrayal of Twitch's memory. Social media platforms were flooded with critiques accusing Ell𝙴n of distorting the truth and using Twitch's tragic death as a means of self-promotion. Some users pointed out the hypocrisy in her portrayal of grief, highlighting the rapidity with which she pursued legal action to claim his estate while publishing a book that framed him as a troubled individual. Others noted the eerie parallels between her actions and those of other high-profile widows who had leveraged their late spouses' legacies for personal benefit, drawing comparisons that further damaged her credibility. Perhaps the most scathing criticisms came from Twitch's inner circle, particularly his longtime friend and film director Comfort. In a passionate statement, she accused Ell𝙴n of twisting the narrative and deliberately tarnishing Twitch's image. Referring to his passing as something orchestrated rather than a spontaneous tragedy, she hinted at a deeper conspiracy that Ell𝙴n had either concealed or facilitated. Another filmmaker and close associate went so far as to accuse her of being the actual addict, claiming that she had introduced substance abuse into their home during their marriage and was now attempting to shift blame onto Twitch. These allegations, though unsubstantiated, contributed to a growing sense of unease about Ell𝙴n's role in the events leading up to his death. Twitch's family, already embittered by the legal battles and restrictive funeral conditions imposed by Ell𝙴n, found the contents of the memoir to be the final straw. They viewed it as a deliberate attempt to rewrite history in a way that diminished Twitch's character and justified Ell𝙴n's act. Several relatives took to social media to voice their frustrations, accusing her of betraying the man they had loved and insisting that the real Twitch was nothing like the person depicted in her book. With each new revelation, the divide between Ell𝙴n and those who had cherished Twitch grew wider, reinforcing the perception that she was more interested in controlling his legacy than preserving it. The scrutiny surrounding Ell𝙴n DeGeneres has intensified in recent years, with mounting allegations painting a troubling portrait of her behavior behind the scenes. Critics argue that Ellens' career has been built on a carefully curated image of kindness and humor, masking a reality where those who cross her or threaten her carefully maintained facade often find themselves ostracized or worse. Whispers of a pattern of silencing dissenters have persisted for years, with former employees and colleagues coming forward with stories of intimidation, workplace hostility, and retaliatory measures against those who dared to speak out. Now, with the renewed focus on Twitch's death, some are questioning whether Ell𝙴n played a more direct role in his fate, perhaps even ensuring that he remained silent about matters that could have jeopardized her career or exposed her ties to powerful figures like Diddy. One of the most unsettling chapters in this ongoing saga involves Ellens' ex-girlfriend, Anne Heche, whose tragic death occurred just months before Twitch's own passing. Anne had been vocal about her experiences in their relationship, making startling revelations about Ellens' alleged willingness to compromise integrity for industry success. During a podcast interview, Anne recounted how she had been the one to end the relationship, citing Ellens' relentless pursuit of wealth and power as a fundamental incompatibility. According to Anne, Ell𝙴n had essentially sold her soul to the industry, prioritizing financial gain over personal happiness. This sentiment was echoed in subsequent statements, where Anne described feeling betrayed and manipulated, alleging that Ell𝙴n attempted to have her committed to a mental institution and worked to have her blacklisted from the entertainment world after their breakup. The severity of these accusations, combined with Anne's sudden and gruesome death, has led some to speculate that there was more to her passing than initially reported. Just months after making these explosive claims, Anne was involved in a fatal car crash that left her with severe second-degree burns across much of her body. She was trapped inside her burning vehicle for nearly 30 minutes before emergency responders arrived, a harrowing ordeal that ultimately proved fatal. Adding to the mystery, hospital records indicated traces of benzoylevin, an inactive metabolite of a controlled substance, in her system at the time of the crash. While this did not necessarily imply illegal drug use, it did raise questions about whether she had ingested anything that could have impaired her judgment behind the wheel. More importantly, the timing of her death, so soon after she had spoken out against Ell𝙴n, led many to wonder if there was a connection between the two women's falling out and the tragic circumstances of Anne's demise. The eerie proximity of Anne Heche's death to Twitch's own passing has only fueled speculation about Ellens' potential involvement in both cases. If Twitch had indeed uncovered information about Ellens' past dealings, gatherings, particularly her alleged participation in Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, he may have been seen as a liability. Ellъn had previously been linked to these secretive gatherings, with rumors circulating that she attended multiple events and even helped recruit participants in exchange for industry opportunities. When confronted about these claims during an episode of the Ellen DeGeneres show, she responded in a manner that many found suspicious, acknowledging familiarity with the parties but quickly backtracking, attributing her knowledge solely to Diddy's music rather than any first-hand experience. This deflection, coupled with her otherwise composed demeanor, led some to believe that she was concealing the truth. If Twitch had been aware of Ellъn's alleged involvement in these affairs, he could have posed a significant threat to her carefully guarded reputation. Given the history of those who had spoken out against Ellъn only to face dire consequences, it is not unreasonable to consider whether he was silenced to prevent him from revealing what he knew. While no direct evidence has emerged to prove such a conspiracy, the pattern surrounding Anne Heche's death and the inconsistencies in Ellъn's responses to inquiries about Diddy's parties create a compelling, if unsettling, narrative. Whether Ellъn played an active role in Twitch's demise or simply benefited from his absence remains uncertain, but the lingering questions surrounding her past actions make it difficult to dismiss the possibility altogether. The unraveling of Twitch's tragic story has shed light on the disturbing realities of celebrity culture, where power, influence, and secrecy often dictate the fates of those caught in its web. At the heart of this controversy lies the troubling notion that individuals in positions of authority, be it in entertainment, business, or social circles, can manipulate narratives to protect their interests, sometimes at the expense of others' lives. The allegations surrounding Twitch's death, particularly the involvement of high-profile figures like Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy, point to a broader pattern of behavior within the industry, where those who possess damaging information are either silenced, discredited, or eliminated altogether. This phenomenon is not unique to Twitch's case. Rather, it reflects a systemic issue that has plagued Hollywood and the music industry for decades. Historically, numerous instances have demonstrated how individuals who threaten the status quo, whether by exposing misconduct, revealing secrets, or challenging powerful entities, are often met with swift retaliation. From whistleblowers facing legal battles to entertainers mysteriously disappearing from the public eye, the entertainment world has long been rife with stories of those who paid the ultimate price for knowing too much. The case of Anne Heche, Ellen DeGeneres' former girlfriend, serves as a chilling example of how quickly someone's life can be upended after speaking out against a major figure. Anne's allegations against Ellъn, including claims of attempted institutionalization and blacklisting, suggest a disturbing trend in which those who oppose or expose the darker side of fame are systematically targeted. If Twitch had indeed uncovered compromising information about Ellъn or Diddy, particularly regarding their alleged involvement in illicit activities or secret gatherings, it is not inconceivable that he too could have been marked for elimination. Furthermore, the presence of Diddy in this narrative introduces another layer of complexity. Known for his lavish lifestyle and exclusive parties, Diddy has long been associated with a culture of excess that often blurs ethical boundaries. His infamous freak-off gatherings, frequently referenced in his music and public discourse, have drawn speculation about their true nature and the identities of those in attendance. Ellъn's appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, where she acknowledged knowing about these events but downplayed her involvement, only fuels suspicions that she was more than just a casual observer. If Twitch had been recruited into this world or had witnessed something he was not meant to see, his sudden death could be interpreted as a necessary measure to ensure silence. Ultimately, Twitch's story underscores the dangers of navigating an industry where truth is often obscured by spectacle and where those in power wield immense influence over public perception. Whether he was a victim of circumstance or a casualty of a larger, more insidious system remains uncertain, but the patterns emerging from his case suggest a grim reality, one where knowledge can be deadly, and where those who seek justice must contend with forces far beyond their control. As the dust settles on the whirlwind of allegations and counterclaims surrounding Twitch's death, one thing remains clear: the truth has yet to fully emerge. Despite the reopening of the case and the mounting inconsistencies in the official narrative, law enforcement has yet to provide definitive answers about what truly happened in the final moments of his life. The possibility that he was still alive longer than initially reported casts a shadow over the entire sequence of events, raising urgent questions about who may have been complicit in covering up the real cause of his death. While Alison Holker's actions have placed her under intense scrutiny, the broader implications of the case extend far beyond her personal conduct. The involvement of high-profile figures like Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy, along with the disturbing pattern of individuals who have met untimely ends after crossing paths with those in power, suggests that Twitch's fate may have been sealed by forces much greater than himself. For Twitch's family and friends, the battle for truth has become a deeply personal mission. Their relentless efforts to challenge Ell𝙴n's version of events and demand transparency from authorities reflect a determination to preserve his legacy and uncover the full extent of what transpired. The emotional toll of watching his name be dragged through the mud in the pages of This Far and seeing his memory manipulated for personal gain has only strengthened their resolve to fight for justice. Meanwhile, the public's reaction has been equally impassioned, with fans and supporters refusing to let Twitch's contributions to entertainment be overshadowed by scandal. Social media has become a battleground for truth seekers, with discussions ranging from forensic analyses of the police report to deep dives into the histories of those connected to the case. Despite the overwhelming skepticism toward the official account of Twitch's death, the path forward remains uncertain. Without concrete evidence linking key figures to foul play, the burden of proof remains a formidable obstacle. Yet the persistence of those who refuse to accept the surface narrative suggests that this story is far from over. Whether the truth will ever come to light remains unknown, but one thing is certain: Twitch's legacy will not be defined by the controversies that followed his passing. Instead, it will endure through the memories of those who loved him, the impact he made on stage and screen, and the unwavering determination of those who continue to seek justice on his behalf.